Hello everyone, Kaoz here, and welcome to another old school RuneScape video. In the previous one, we talked about changes coming to the next drops and the addition of Torva, which I am super excited about. And thanks to a poll I gave you guys last week, today we are going to talk about expanding or reworking old school's current skills to give us more content to have fun with, just in case we never see a new skill in the future. If you enjoyed today's video, a subscription with notifications on would be greatly appreciated, as well as a like to help out with the YouTube algorithm. Finally, you can check out the link in the description below to join our wonderful and growing Discord community. The only disclaimer I have for you guys today is that everything we talk about in the video is 100% hypothetical. So take everything you hear in this video with a grain of salt, and the main purpose is just to discuss and have fun ideas for future content. And one final thing before we get into the main part of the video, what do I mean by expanding and reworking? Expanding a skill would basically be adding more content to it, even if it means increasing the maximum level from 99 all the way to, let's say, 105, 110, 115, or even 120 just like we have in RuneScape 3. Now, I know a lot of people are against RuneScape 3 in any way, shape, or form, but now that I got to experience it, all of the level 120s actually make a lot of sense, and I think Old School could learn a little bit from that. In terms of reworking, I mean that a skill is heavily outdated, and if Jagex and the community are ready to let the game evolve, this would change the core of the skill in how players gain experience, process items, and so on. But more about that later. So once again, grab your favorite snack and let's talk about how some of old school RuneScape skills could be expanded or reworked if Jagex wants to give us more content that isn't directly linked to a new skill. So, let's go. We are going to start with all of the combat skills, which are attack, strength, defense, ranged, prayer, magic in terms of combat, and finally hit points. The reason why I think we will never see these skills touched is because all of them are directly linked to weapons and armor, and I'm pretty sure we are all on the same page as to what the community thinks of power creep. If we don't have weapons or armor sets which are powerful enough to demand an increase in all of these levels, there's absolutely no need to increase the maximum level as well. I mean, if you look at RuneScape 3, they just recently got to tier 95 melee and magic weapons, and it's been over 20 years since the game's release. So if the community makes a big deal over new powerful items in old school RuneScape today, I am 100% certain that all of the combat skills will never see any sort of rework or expansion. And of course, because level 99 is still the maximum level in all of the combat skills in RuneScape 3, so I don't think we are going to see some of these changed anytime soon, either in old school or in RuneScape 3. Alright, and just like that, it is time for part 2 of the video, and first on the list we have construction. I'll start with this one because I personally think we are at a very healthy point in terms of how useful a house can be. You have incredibly useful things in there such as the Portal Nexus, mounted jewelry, a jewelry box, spirit tree, fairy ring, an obelisk, pet storage, and the list goes on. Unless Jagex makes something more innovative that we can have inside our houses, I don't really think the level cap for construction will be expanded anytime soon, or even reworked in terms of how players gain experience or get all of these fancy pieces of furniture in our house. Up next we have crafting, and this one is almost in the same boat as construction. If you guys look at the game guide, there are already tons of options to train with, and most importantly, there are many endgame items we can craft thanks to Zenyte gems. With them we are able to craft things like Zenyte rings, necklaces, bracelets, and amulets, all which take level 89, 92, 95, and finally 98 respectively to make. Unless Jagex releases new monsters that drop new gems or things to upgrade current Bastion slot jewelry, I don't really think the crafting skill will see an expansion anytime soon either. Alright, our first skill combination goes to agility and the thieving. And if you think about it, how cool would it be to have Pyramid Plunder 2.0 or maybe something related to it, in which we use both of these skills to both level up faster, get new items, and so on. Think of it as the Hallowed Sepulchre, but for the thieving skill. And with more agility levels, there could be more shortcuts added to the map, as well as new NPCs to steal from for great loot. These ones are here because I don't think we desperately need new content for them, but I wouldn't be opposed to getting around the map quicker, or even do some other cool things with the thieving skill. The following skill combination makes even more sense, and expansions to both fishing and cooking would go perfectly together. It makes so much sense in fact that I probably don't even need to explain how they would work. If there's a level cap increase for both, we could be given new fish to catch and cook for us to use as better healing items on our Slayer trips or whatever other activity you need food for. If you think of food to use in old school RuneScape, the default would probably be lobster, pizza, and swordfish on free-to-play, and for members would be shark, karambwan, manta rays, dark crabs, and even anglerfish. So how cool would it be to have new creatures to fish and cook that could heal, let's say, 30 or more? Just add new fishing spots, cooking level requirements to it, and we are good to go to give both of these iconic skills a better new expansion. Now I will group 3 skills together, one of which I honestly couldn't find a better spot for. These are woodcutting, fire making, and fletching. Now, of course, when I mention woodcutting and fire making, I can barely think of anything more boring to do in the game, so not only am I talking about adding new trees for which we can burn new logs for experience, but what about either increasing the cap to let us do that, or even add a minigame like the Winter Toad, which would bring all of these 3 skills together to train them in a more interactive way. I am honestly happy with either an expansion or a rework, as when I was maxing my account in Old School and in RuneScape 3, woodcutting, fletching, and fire making were absolutely putting me to sleep, even when I was leveling up even faster. Now I will talk about my favorite skill, which is runecrafting. Increasing the runecrafting level cap would obviously mean one thing, and of course I am talking about new runes. The way we could use these is to cast new utility spells for any of these 4 spellbooks available, and since thralls have been super popular in the game since their release of the latest current quest, which is A Kingdom Divided, what about adding summoning-like spells for each of the spellbook, all of which could have its strengths and weaknesses? Think of the Archaeus spellbook thralls for combat, ancient spellbook thralls to mimic, let's say, smoke, shadow, blood, and ice effects, lunar thralls to give us benefits when using utility spells, and even thralls in the normal spellbook, which will increase the strength of each magic spell, for example. This is just one suggestion, and one that makes sense as the current Archaeus spellbook thralls were super well received by the community, both as mid and high level players. 2 of the skills which would make great expansions would be farming and Herblore pretty much tied together. Now, if we have new seeds coming into the game, these would be used to gain new herbs for new potions. Of course, if it makes sense to add them, and if they fit the current game. Maybe not a level 120 cap for these, but even just a few extra levels to make a couple of potions beyond level 99 to aid in combat, skilling, or even utility would be incredibly cool to have. Think of a way to combine Divine Super Combat, Ranged, and Magic, which would basically be an overload just like we have them in Nightmare Zone and Chambers of Xeric. Or what about a Super Stamina Potion, which would be twice as powerful as its current variant? The possibilities are quite endless if we are looking at expanding both of these skills together. The next combination is for Slayer and Hunter, and if you have been on social media for a while, you might recall someone suggesting to JMods an activity to hunt big monsters in places like the jungle for massive experience and to offer a new and more interactive way to train Hunter. This would be similar to big game hunting in RuneScape 3, which again, I don't want to copy of, but ever since I saw this idea, I've been thinking about it, and honestly, it sounds way too cool to pass up. Both Slayer and Hunter would give you the ability to hunt for bigger and scarier monsters, and this would be a great candidate for both an expansion and a rework to give us more content to train with and get experience in both of these skills. Now, obviously with some limitations for people not to be upset, that level 3s can now have a 99 Slayer or beyond. For the next one I will cheat a little bit, and I am going to have Slayer as a standalone skill to expand. The obvious answer would be to add more monsters to kill, but if we go a bit deeper than that, we could see even more content added to the game, like Slayer Masters, areas, dungeons, and so on. This one is high up on the list because it makes sense, and not because Slayer desperately needs an expansion, as the current way to gain experience is perfectly fine in my personal opinion, but I bet more players are looking for tougher challenges such as new Slayer bosses, so only time can tell. And finally, 2 skills which might be in desperate need of a rework are both mining and smithing. Now, again, I'm not talking about a RuneScape 3 level rework, but even more ways to train that feel rewarding would be incredible for both new and old players alike. Again, if you've been on social media, you might know that both of these are the most memed skills, basically because level 85 mining and 99 smithing gives you the ability to make level 40 armor for melee. I know it's how the game was originally intended, but to be honest, nowadays it sounds a little bit ridiculous. Now, I'm not saying we need new ores, new bars, new weapons and armor, but honestly just a small rework would be very welcomed. I can't imagine a new player going into the game and being super excited that they can now wear level 40 rune armor and seeing that they need level 85 mining and 99 smithing to make it. So anything to give both of these skills more love would also be amazing in the future. And now for my quick and unscripted thoughts. I think some people might be not upset or mad, but kind of annoyed at the fact that I am one person who keeps suggesting new skills, new content, reworks, expansions, and so on, when a lot of people might think that the game is perfect as it is, but honestly I am just like way too obsessed with this game, and currently I don't really have something to keep me interested other than maybe waiting for Leagues 3, which was delayed for a group Ironman until January, which was honestly kind of annoying. But I really don't want to create either an Ironman or my own restrictions and rules to keep having fun with this game. I know that I still have a lot of things to experience, like Theater of Blood, the Chambers of Xeric. I don't have a high kill count in many of the bosses in Old School RuneScape, but I am honestly more excited about new things coming into the game rather than me trying to experience something that I have tried before and not that I am like extremely in love with. So maybe new content coming in the future might be that one thing that could spark my interest and both well, maybe not old, but experienced players alike. I know a lot of people, whenever they get to the end game, late game, when they max or when they have all of the items that they want, maybe they just focus on just that one thing that we are working towards, and that's pretty much it, you know. So that tunnel vision, I think it's not very healthy in the game, because I think as much as this game is built on maybe not 100% nostalgia, but yeah, it's I think a lot more things to innovate in the game would be very, very nice to have from Jagex. So yeah, hopefully you guys liked this video. And that's pretty much it. So just like I said, this is all speculation, because I'm pretty sure nothing will change for the sake of keeping the game truly old school, and that's also okay. But hopefully you guys liked my suggestions, and if you didn't, well, also make sure to let me know why. And for making it this far, we have another bond giveaway, and this time I want you guys to leave a comment telling me how you would expand or rework a skill of your choice. One comment will be picked at random on Friday, and you will walk away with one bond. This giveaway is for subscribers and Discord members only, so make sure to join the group for a chance to win. A massive thank you to all my channel members, especially the legends that are Mr. Moldybot and Demon Cloak for being in the Nazi and Dragon tier respectively. If you guys would like to monetarily support this channel and receive a bunch of cool perks for your pledge, you can click the join button below and learn more about it. So with that, I will see you guys next week, where I will give you a nice little video talking about free armor and weapon upgrades for any type of account. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you then.